There's primarily two books that I'm working out of. Path to Altissimo. This is, the first thing that I do. It's kind of like the daily practicing. Working on my tone, working on my range. Really just exploring what I can do. I'd say the second half of my practicing comes from this book, which you might be confused because it says for bass guitar, but it's really just a number of things. I mean, like any instrument can use it. But I have to say that the book's secondary. The most important part is the access to the online material. So as you can kind of see here, it starts off, because it's a bass book, starts off talking about walking bass lines. But where I'm spending my time is in each decade, Janek has taken iconic phrases that he feels are iconic, and I tend to agree with him. And it just kind of systematically goes through the book, with each decade. You can see more decades. Some decades have more musicians than others, but it's all really great stuff. What I've been doing is, what you can kind of see here based on my progress, I tackled the 1930s first, and then I got into the 40s, and I have to confess, this phrase by Dexter Gordon is a beast of a phrase. But taking Janek's advice, just find what you're inspired by. And actually I hopped down here to the 1990s and learned a phrase by both Joshua Rudman and Kurt Rosenwinkel. And so I'm kind of, it's kind of a way to jump around, but it's learning, how to play the phrase and learning it by ear. That's, super important. It's only after I learn it by ear do I go to the book. So each lesson, has Janek playing the phrase, and then there's, different tempos. And I usually spend, 15, 20 minutes just trying to learn it by ear. Some phrases come easier and faster than others, but the point is to learn it by ear. And then after learning it by ear, then taking it through different keys. So I'm going to find a phrase that I'm going to work on, and then I'll record myself learning it. It's going to be long and boring, but if you really want to know what I do, this is what I do. Okay, so I picked a phrase. It's by Dizzy Gillespie, and I'm just going to listen to Janek play it a few times. And now I'm going to pull up just the piano version of Janek playing it. And I'm just going to listen to it. And as I listen to it, I'm going to try to figure out the key that it's in. I'm going to see what my ears naturally hear. Some things I'm going to pick up faster than others. But it's a process, and that's the most important part. Sing along, sometimes poorly. Now at this point, I realize it's been about a minute of video of me just sitting here, but I'm thinking through it, I'm imagining it, I'm, trying to pick out certain things, and there's things I'm hearing in it that make sense to me, and then there's some twists and turns where I'm like, gosh, what's he playing? Like, I know it's here, but I don't know exactly what it is yet. And, I'm not in a hurry to learn it. I think that's the other important part. Somebody might be watching this going, gosh, don't you know it by now? But it's not about that. It's about, I really want to understand this. I really want to have a grasp of why did Janek think that this phrase by Dizzy Gillespie was important? And I'm gonna listen more, start and stop a lot, and try to pick up some key things. And all along the way, I'm gonna sing, try to sing along, because once I can sing something, then I know I've got it. And then it's just simply transferring it, from here to here. So you can see I've got part of the beginning, I've got part of the end. So now I'm just I know where I'm starting and I know where I'm ending. I know it's sloppy, I know it's not perfect. I don't care. I'm just trying to get closer and closer. And along the way, I've got the answer. I could easily look up what notes that are being played. And they're in this book that's literally in front of me. But that's not going to help me learn it. If I go to the book, the work's been done for me. And if I really want to learn this stuff, I've got to do it orally. I've got to, do the work that some people might find embarrassing of, I just want the answer. But it's not wanting the answer, it's wanting to find the answer. It's an act of finding it where the real learning happens. So if you're still watching this video, you're a trooper, but I'm just gonna get back at it. I think I got it. All right, I've taken a little break. It's important to take a break when you're practicing. This, for many reasons. I mean, mentally, physically. Just kind of step away from it, come back to it, and then see how you are. So I'm gonna just play along again, see what I remember, see what I think I got right. Realizing that there's probably, in fact, I know there's still notes that I don't have yet. So I'll play and see what happens. So at this point, I've spent probably 20-25 minutes, just going at this by ear. I've got probably 90% of it. So at this moment, I'm going to open up the book and kind of check my work, right? So I'm going to the teacher edition and finding the answer. So I just want to connect those dots. Now some might say, well, no, I should never look at the book. But there's also that element of, I want to see what I'm doing. And if I'm doing something wrong, I want to learn early on what I'm doing wrong. So let's go to the answer here and see what Dizzy was playing and see how far off or how close I was. Right. So this is the part of practicing where I use my theory brain to kind of understand things. So now that I've got, these scale degrees, this is what's going to allow me to take this phrase and start working on it in different keys. And that's the ultimate goal. So, as you look at other things I've done, these check marks next to each phrase mean that I've taken these into all 12 keys. And some I'm still working on. That's the point of all of this. So I'll do it. And my thoughts on practicing is practice until you never get it wrong. It's not about getting it right. Just don't get it wrong. Because the hardest thing to do is to unlearn. So learning might seem hard, but unlearning is harder. So get it right. Don't move faster than you can. Now that I've got this, I've got a 4-measure phrase, it's going to open the door to allow me to hear more things. I've got a fraction of understanding of the music that he created, and that's going to give me a greater understanding of jazz and this language and this modern language that happens. And the more I practice it, the more it's going to become part of my playing. I'm never going to sound like Dizzy Gillespie, but if I can have a hint of his language in my playing, it's going to open up doors for me. So yeah.